This afternoon from Durham, North Carolina, we'll be taking a look at one of the finest passing quarterbacks in college football, Ben Bennett. The ACC Player of the Year last season, Bennett became the first player in conference history to pass for over 3,000 yards in a season. He comes into his final season with a shot at the career NCAA mark. This afternoon from the beautiful Duke University campus, Bennett will be matching his talents against the big defensive front of the Clemson Tigers. On a beautiful afternoon for football, stay tuned for Clemson versus Duke. From Wallace Wade Stadium in Durham, North Carolina, the USA Network presents College Football 83. And today, the Clemson Tigers meet the Duke Blue Devils. As you can see, it's an absolutely gorgeous afternoon here in Durham, North Carolina. I'm Art Ekman, and working with me again today is Kevin Kiley, former professional linebacker. And Kevin, the last time Duke was 0-5 that they beat the Clemson Tigers, they came in, they hadn't had a win on the season, and a young freshman quarterback was just starting to blossom at that time.
And you know, Clemson remembers that. It was in Death Valley 3 years ago that Ben Bennett came in as a freshman, and they did beat Clemson. Today, the Duke team is not as strong, maybe, as they were 3 years ago. Bennett is much improved, though, and we're excited about seeing him. The key matchup, though, might be the center, Phil Eppinger, against the middle guard of Clemson, and that's William Perry, 325 pounds. Eppinger is going to have to stop Perry if Bennett's going to get the ball off.
Now, last week we saw the Clemson offense open up a great deal.
Well, they're much more diversified than they were early in the season. They're throwing short and long, and they run the ball exceptionally well. They put a lot of pressure on a beleaguered Duke defense.
Okay, we're ready for the opening kickoff. Duke versus Clemson. This is USA's College Football 83. Duke won the toss and is elected to receive. They send back at the end zone. Julius Grantham, number 25, and Mike Atkinson, number 3, as Donald Igwebuike prepares to kick off from his 40-yard line. Igwebuike now has 66.7% of his kickoffs this year non-returnable. And I suspect he might do the same here with a wind at his back. This ball game is underway. In the usual form for Igwebuike, it'll be 1st and 10 for the Duke Blue Devils at their 20-yard line. Let's take a look at the Duke offense as we start off. That great All-American quarterback, Ben Bennett. Grayson is not only the leading rusher, but also the leading receiver. Russell at tight end. There's your flanker, Frederick. Splitton has had some injury problems. And there's the interior line with the All-American Philip Eppinger at center. Chuck Herring has now come into the lineup at flanker, split to the near side. Bennett pitches back to Grayson.
Mike Grayson around the left side, the tackle.
Checking out the Clemson defense now. That powerful midsection of Pickett, Robinson, Perry, Scott, and Terrence Mack, the Rover. Linebackers, Henry Walls, the leading tackler in this ball club, Eldridge Milton. And the defensive secondary, Davis, McSwain, Childers, and Watson. It'll be 2nd down and 7 for Duke at their 23-yard line. Grayson once again. Very little running room. Robinson making the initial hit on him. James Robinson, 6'5", 275 pounds. And Kevin, with the matchup between the All-American center and William Perry at that nose guard position, it might open up a lot of chances for the rest of the defensive line.
Most offenses have to double team Perry. Duke may not have that problem. Ebinger is an outstanding run blocker, and he should be able to handle Perry, or at least try early by himself.
Militello to the far side, and we've got Herring to the near side. Bennett pitching back to Grayson. The fumble, it's kicked by a Clemson player, and Bennett has to go back to pick it up. He's down at the 5-yard line.
Well, Grayson never had this ball, and this has got to make Sloan a little bit unhappy. Bennett was injured during one of his most productive times by recovering a fumble. Here, Grayson never had the ball. The pitch was a little bit behind him, but not that much. And here goes Bennett. He'll pick it up and try to run. I feel he maybe should have just fallen on ball. There is a penalty, however, on Clemson, and that ball is going to come up instead of going back.
Childers was one that kicked the football. Jimmy Scott was the one that made the tackle on Bennett, but all for naught. Clemson offside, and it gives the Duke Blue Devils a first down just beyond their 30-yard line. So a good break for the Blue Devils now. Herring, the sophomore from Springfield, Virginia, to the near side. Hand off to Grayson. Grayson avoiding a nice try by Terrence Mack, and finally Jimmy Scott coming up to make the stop. Ben Bennett, the 6'2 senior from Sunnyvale, California. Those statistics showing how prominent he has been on the national scene, not just here in the ACC play.
He can jump over Dan Marino today with 112 yards passing, which is way below his average, so he can move into the 5th spot on the all-time NCAA list today.
2nd and 10. Grayson is on the wing. In and out of the outstretched arms of Militello. Mark Militello is a senior receiver, averaging 10.7 per catch, but this time it looked like he might have heard some footsteps.
Led the ACC last year. He had 52 receptions. You may wonder why they're running the ball and throwing the short patterns. Bennett, with all the good things about him, the great talent he has, is not exceptionally quick. In fact, he's a little bit slow of foot. They're trying to establish the running game and the short passing game to give him some time.
3rd and 10 out of the eye. Bennett over the middle, overshoots Militello. Militello's caught passes in 16 straight games, but in 2 straight tries fails to make the catch this time, and the punt team comes on for Duke.
The roar that you hear is the Clemson crowd, not the Duke crowd. There's about 7,000 Clemson people here in Durham for this game, and they're going to make themselves known.
John Tolish, who's had a foot sprain, is in to do the kicking, standing at his 15. Billy Davis back to receive on the 30-yard line. Tolish averaging 44.3 a kick, and the fair catch is called for. 1st and 10 Clemson on their first offensive try now from their 29-yard line. The Clemson offense coming onto the field. Quarterback Mike Epley coming off his finest game as a Tiger. Kenny Flowers at tailback. Ray Williams will be going most of the way at flanker because of an injury to Terry Rulak. Boyer and Dunn, the other receivers. And the interior line of Engel, Fire, Swing, Reese, and Joe Ellis at right tackle. Mack and Flowers in the backfield. A good shot of Epley now as he starts on the first possession. Kevin Mack pulls his way right through the safety and gets down to the 44-yard line. Mack is coming off a 109-yard game against Virginia, his best ever, averaging 6.5 a carry, and he starts off this game right where he left off. The Duke defense. There you see the interior line. Andrews at nose guard. The linebackers, Bonacani, yes, that's his son. Ralph Alderman, the other linebacker, is the leading tackler, and the defensive secondary. G is the leading interceptor. 1st and 10. Second play for Clemson in the ball game. The pitch. That's Mack. He's got running room at the 40, 35, 30. He's got a blocker. Will he cut? He stays to the outside and is bounced out of bounds finally by Johnny Hill. So Johnny Hill of Winston-Salem played that about as well as you can with a blocker in front of him.
Duke's defense has been exceptionally strong up the middle and exceptionally weak outside. Mack is not all that quick, but he's quick as they get the Duke defense on the ground. You don't want that to happen to you defensively. Now, there's only one man to beat here, but he has a blocker. If Mack cuts inside, I believe he's got it, but old Thrill Hill makes the tackle.
And Charleston really not accustomed to doing too much blocking in that wide receivership. Epley calls time as the Duke defense puts something up in front of him. Mack now on 2 carries is 68 yards. So with 12:37 remaining in the first quarter, no score yet as Clemson threatens on their first possession. We'll be back after this. First down, goal to go. Ball on the 3-yard line. Flowers, the ball carrier, takes it down to the 1.
Flowers, the tailback up the middle.
Brian Walder, number 96. He's 6'4", 230 pounds, a junior, making the stop. Walder from Deerfield, Illinois. Into the ball game at a wingback position, Wilbur Bullard.
Linebacker has been the strongest part of the Duke defense, and a defense that has not been particularly strong. So you probably see Clemson try it off tackle or maybe outside.
Make it a gain of a yard now. 2nd and 2. Flowers tripped up nicely. Harry Ward coming in to make the stop from Norwood, Massachusetts. He's 6'3", 225 pounds, only a sophomore.
One of the things about goal line defense, you know you have to come and get penetration, and penetration is what does it for Duke on that play. Ward gets in behind the line of scrimmage and trips up Flowers before he can make the cut.
2nd down, ball placement still at the 2-yard line. Make it a 3rd down. Ball at the 2. That's Bullard in motion. Goes to Mack. The power runner bowls his way into the end zone. Touchdown. So Clemson, as we anticipated, having very few problems moving the ball on the ground.
We talked about the middle of the Duke defense can stop you, but the outside has been very weak. Clemson tried the middle, didn't get anywhere. They get their best runner on the outside off tackle. Little resistance. Touchdown, 6-0 Tigers.
4th touchdown of the year for Mack as Clemson moves the ball 71 yards in 5 plays, capped by that 2-yard run. Parling, who was 17 for 17, is now 18 for 18 in extra points. Clemson with 11:23 remaining here in the first quarter, taking the lead 7-0 over Duke. What will that Duke defense have to do, Kevin, to stop the running game of Clemson?
Well, I don't know that their personnel can stop Clemson. Clemson's a very strong team physically. The defense has been moved around. There's tremendous amount of changes in both the offense and the defense for Duke. 0-5 will do that for you. A lot of these kids are new at the position, and they just haven't learned it yet. You can see they get on the ground, and that's because their technique is a little bad. They're just going to have to suck it up. It's a home crowd, although there are 7,000 Clemson people here, and just try to do the best that they can. Sometimes if a team gets off early in a game they're expected to win, they will be lulled to sleep. Clemson has to maybe work against that, and Duke has to try and take advantage of it.
Mack in 3 carries, 70 yards in that first drive. The last meeting between these two teams, Cliff Austin had a field day. He set an all-time Clemson record 260 yards on the ground. That was in 27 carries, and he had 3 touchdowns last year as Clemson rolled up 520 yards on the ground against the Blue Devils. Igwebuike set to kick off for the 2nd time in this ball game. Grantham and Atkinson standing at the goal line, but as I say once again, the wind is behind him, and he lofts a high one this time coming to Atkinson. He will not run it out. Too deep in the end zone. 1st and 10 at the 20 for Duke.
One of the responsibilities of the offense when you have a weak defense is to keep it off the field. And when you have a passing offense, sometimes that's difficult. Now Bennett's going to have to try and control the ball, keep Clemson's defense on the field, his own defense off the field. Whether he gets points or not, obviously the offense can't score for Clemson if they're not on the field.
Doug Green, number 5, comes in at a wide receivership now, and a 1st and 10. We'll see if Bennett goes right to the air. Militello, Mark Militello getting the pass. And so now he extends his streak to 17 straight games with a reception. Milton made the tackle. His 49th stop of the year. Milton doing a fine job at that linebacker spot. Did not start the season in a starting role, but has come on very strong. Bennett now 1 for 3. That's his first completion, a 5-yard completion, 2nd and 5 at the 25. Breaking out of the pack, Grayson had a penalty flag down. It looked like there might have been a jump at the line of scrimmage. Whether it was illegal procedure or offside on Clemson, we'll have to check. Henry Walls making the stop on Grayson. Grayson, a very quick runner, has done a nice job under the circumstances.
Art Bennett, it's changing up the count and drawing the Clemson people off and messing up their timing. I watched Grayson in high school at Falls Church High School in Northern Virginia. He's very quick, won't run over anybody, but he can cause you a lot of problems. Changes direction very well as he did on that play, and he'll get some yardage in today's game.
Averaging 4.9 a carry. He also is tied with Gary Frederick for the team's scoring leadership with 4 touchdowns and a 1 touchdown pass and 3 by rushing. He is their leading pass receiver. In fact, he's tied for 3rd in the nation in pass receptions, averaging 7.2 a contest. So the penalty good enough for the first down. Bennett shouting out an audible. Green goes to the wing, comes to the near side, through behind the reception.
Timing a little bit off on that play, or else it might have gone for a touchdown. Defensive back for Clemson was taking a little chance there. McSwain, the ball was thrown behind. He tried to pick it off and go for the interception. Another penalty, and it's Bennett that's doing this. He's changing the count up, and a good quarterback, an experienced quarterback, guy like Bennett that's been playing 4 years at the same position, will do that to a defense, and he's kind of messing Clemson up a little bit.
3rd penalty against Clemson here in the early going. Each time 5 yards marched off. So it's 1st and 5 at the 35. Militello in motion. That's Grayson. Grayson bouncing off a tackler and makes it to the 44-yard line. Rod McSwain finally making the tackle. McSwain, 6'2", 190-pound senior. He's had 16 tackles so far this year coming into the ball game, 1 sack and 1 fumble recovery. He's done his job in the secondary.
That's power football there, just a power sweep out of the I formation. Grayson quick enough to get outside and get ahead of the defense and picked up good yardage.
You saw this was the 28th meeting between these two schools, the series starting back in 1934. The ball carrier is Grantham. Grantham out of that tailback spot for Grayson. Good gain on the play before Ronald Watson makes the tackle.
All right, Grantham, 6 foot, 185 pounds. He's a lot bigger than Grayson, and you watch at the end of this play, good block there at the corner as he takes it inside. Look at him lower his head right into those 2 Clemson people, and he picks up another 4 yards. Now, that's something that Grayson can't do. He's just simply too small, but Grantham gives him that extra dimension where you can pick up the extra yardage.
McSwain and Watson combining for the stop. A very fine block by Joel Blunt, the fullback from Wester Groves, Missouri. 1st and 10, 9 minutes and 32 seconds left in the first quarter. Ball placement at the 46-yard line. Bennett swings it out. Goes to his fullback, Blunk. Blunk is a pretty good fullback. As we saw, he blocks well. He also has carried the ball on occasion for 2.9 a carry, but this time they go to him through the air.
Well, that was a spread formation with a tight slot at the wide side of the field. They were trying to get Clemson to roll up a strong zone and go to the weak side. Clemson didn't bite, and they played it very well defensively.
Bennett now 2 for 4 through the air for 8 yards, and it's 2nd and 7. Perry jumping off. Let's see if he was drawn off by the center.
By the quarterback guard. They're going to get Bennett one of these times. Watch him bob his head. I don't know if we have this on replay, but here we go. Watch Bennett's head. Look at him. And look at poor Perry. But Williams supposed to watch the ball and not the quarterback's head. Bennett's a smart cookie, but if I'm Perry, I got to go to the official and say, hey, he's bobbing his head. He's drawing me off.
The 20th yard marched off against Clemson here in the first quarter, and still 8:51 remaining. Clemson 7-0 over Duke. Duke, their second series of plays and their first long drive. Grantham, the ball carrier. William Perry getting into the backfield very quickly.
It's a good effort by Grantham, but Duke is getting into a pattern. They're running to the tight end. Here are the guys that we'll probably be criticizing all day without cause. Robert Wood is the referee. James Robertson, the field judge. William Lovett is the back judge, and Herkovich is the line judge. These guys do a good job, but let's face it, up here it's a lot easier to look down on it and see it than it is at field level.
2 fullbacks on the depth chart into the ball game right now on a 3rd and 1 at the 37-yard line. penalty flag down. Grantham, the ball carrier. Jimmy Scott, the tackle. Let's check the penalty flag.
Blue Devils have it in their mind to run to the short side of the field and to the left side of their offense. It looks like, yeah, it's on the Blue Devils, so it's going to be short. It appears it came up short, and they will not have a first down.
El Masri, John El Masri, was the fullback that was in motion for blocking to the near side.
Every coach goes into a game nervous. Clemson, quite frankly, is a heavy favorite here. But you know, Danny Ford is scared to death. It's bad enough to lose to a team like, well, if you would lose to Georgia or Nebraska, but if you come in here and you lose to Duke and you're a heavy favorite, that type of thing gives you nightmares. So he's tense. It's only 7-0, and Duke can move the ball. You better believe it.
Danny Ford and Steve Sloan, the head coach of the Duke Blue Devils, of course, under the tutelage of Paul Bear Bryant at Alabama. Ford, a 1970 graduate, and there you see Steve Sloan. He came out of Alabama in 1966. Steve with a white shirt on with the headphones on there.
Interesting decision there, Art. They took the penalty. It was 4th and 1. They took the penalty, give him 3rd down again, and give Bennett a shot at it.
Duke not known for field goal kicking either. 3rd and 6 now. This is Bennett's bread and butter. Nice defensive play that time. Tyrone Davis jumping in front of the intended receiver, Doug Green.
Good play by Davis. Bennett does not have a quick release either, believe it or not. As good as he is, takes an awful long time looking that way, and finally lets go of the ball, gives Davis a chance to make the great defensive play. And even with all the slowness in this play, they still almost completed it.
John Tolish, whose previous punt went for 41 yards. Going to try for the coffin. No, he's going to run, and he's got lots of running room now. A smart move by the Duke Blue Devils. Tolish out of bounds at the 28-yard line. No rush at all, and he had oodles of room.
Well, Tolish is supposed to have a bad foot. Well, what do you got to lose, right? Except Tolish, I guess. You're playing against Clemson. You need the first down. Again, you want to keep that defense off the field. Now look at Tolish. He knows when he's got to know. He sees there's nobody coming, and he takes off. Got to give him a lot of credit. Takes a lot of guts to run on a punt like that.
1st and 10 now for Duke with 7:22 remaining in the first quarter of play. Chuck Herring and Greg Flanagan, the wide receivers. Bennett looks to Flanagan, right through his hands and out of bounds, anticipating the hit from Rod McSwain.
One has to wonder what Bennett's credentials would be if passes like that were caught. He's going for career records in most attempts and most completions. Well, he'll get the attempt on that, but not the completion, and that ball was right in Flanagan's hands.
He's got 2 for 6, and at least 3 have gone through the hands of his receivers. Grayson and Blunt, the running backs. Latello and Herring, the wide receivers. Grayson, the ball carrier. Can he get the one block to hit the corner? Bounced out of bounds at the 24-yard line by Vandal Arrington.
Joel Blunk with a great block on the corner. Left his feet, cut the man down, and gave Grayson whatever yardage he did pick up, which appeared to be maybe 3 yards, but it was a terrific block by the fullback that sprung him. 3rd down and 7 now for Duke. Trying to get on the scoreboard to tie this ball game up. Ball placement at the 24-yard line. Blunk, the fullback, Grayson, the running back, Herring and Militello, the wide receivers. It's Herring all the way over to the near side of the field. That's Grayson in motion, and the penalty flag goes in the air once again. There you see Ebinger, Philip Ebinger, jumping into the air. He's the center from Atlanta, Georgia. 6'3½", 256 pounds. Well, you can't see it. Hey, look at Bennett. As Bennett jumps there, you can't hear it, is what I meant to say. You can't hear him change the count, but he'll go 2, 22, 6, green, like that. And these guys are just jumping. You have to be smarter than the ball. I remember our defensive coach would say, guys, to play, you got to be smarter than the ball. And Clemson's bound to pick that up, but it shouldn't take them more than a quarter to do it, or we got serious problems here.
25 yards marched off in the first quarter against Clemson. 7:13 remaining in that quarter. Grayson. Took too much time for the play to develop, and coming in and knocking everyone down was Ray Brown along with William Devane. Credit the tackle to Brown.
Grayson apparently was not in the right place. Bennett turned around to hand the ball off, and Grayson was a full 2 yards away. to his left, and he had to kind of reach to hand the ball. Grayson didn't get there quick enough, so he was hit for a loss. That's a tough break and a big play for Duke. They needed to get that one off. At least they needed to be crisp offensively.
Ken Harper setting up to try the field goal. He is 4 for 10 this year with his longest a 45-yard attempt. This one's a 36-yard try. It is up. It is good. Duke is on the scoreboard. So with 6:35 remaining in the first quarter, it's Clemson 7, Duke 3. Harper's 37-yard field goal capping off a 60-yard drive in 11 plays, and of course 3 offside penalties helping things out for the Duke Blue Devils. Harper setting up to kick off, and we've got Stacy Driver to the near side and Ray Williams to the far side, both standing on their end zone. Harper end over end. Williams will bring it out from the 3-yard line. He's got some blockers, and he's got the speed. Penalty flag down as he makes it to the 33-yard line. The kicker, Harper, making the tackle. It looks like they're going to bring it back, Kevin.
It's a clipping penalty. Initial call was a clipping penalty on Clemson, but whoever did the clip wiped out the entire left side of the Duke kick team. Let's take a look at it. Here's Williams fielding the ball. Now, you have to stay across the field, stay in your lane when you come down to cover a kick. Duke does not do that. See the man on the ground in the back there? Should not be on the ground either, obviously. And Williams finally gets caught up, but he made some good yardage. The clip happened about the 20-yard line, and they'll bring it back to the 7.
So Duke has been able to take advantage of 33 yards marched off against Clemson in penalties. Lone remaining running back is Kevin Mack, the fullback, and it goes to Kevin. Once he gets outside, look out. And he's bounced out of bounds at the 31-yard line. Coming over to knock him out of bounds there is Darrell Deaton. Deaton from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. When there's no one on that corner, it's pretty hard to stop anyone, let alone a power train like Mack. And we've got a penalty flag down.
Well, they just caved in the entire side of the Duke defense, and he had plenty of room. Now, this man just falls down, and Mack can go right down the field. That was Hill, Johnny Hill, who fell down, and finally Mack gets pushed out by the safety. But Mack, they're making Mack an All-American today.
Personal foul against Duke. That's their second penalty on the day, and it'll put the ball at the 46-yard line for Clemson. Well, you've got to credit that left side of the line. James Farr at guard. Mack now is already in 4 carries, hit the century mark. Reed Engel, also the left tackle, and J.D. Dunn, the tight end. We've got Flowers and Mack, the running back, as Epley fades back to pass. He's got his man in the open. That's Dunn. He steps out of bounds at the 37-yard line.
Well, Epley turned him around on this. Dunn made a nice catch. He turned him around. Had he not turned him around, he might have gone up the sideline. Let's take a look. A great fake as Epley rolls to the right. Darrell Brunson is on the coverage, but not much of that. Watch this pass. See, he turned him around. If he'd let him up the sideline, he may have gone for a score.
Nice pass blocking by Joe Ellis, number 64. Epley coming off his greatest game as a quarterback is right on target now. 1st and 10 at the 37-yard line. That's Flowers. Slips a tackle behind the line. He's got running room at the 30. Breaks inside. Nice cut. And makes it inside the 25-yard line. We'll see where the ball placement is. Johnny Hill, number 11. Or number 12, rather, and Darrell Deaton combining for the stop.
So a combination of what Flowers can do, power running off tackle to get loose, and a little open field running. Clemson has not had a play that has not worked in this game so far, and the Duke defense simply just must do better.
Charleston to the far side, Ray Williams to the near side. Your new fullback is Braxton Williams, and he's got the ball. Very little running room, make it a gain of about 3 yards on the 1st and 10 play. Glenn Barner will credit him with the stop from Aberdeen, North Carolina. 7-3 with 5:37 remaining to be played. Still in the first quarter. Here in Durham, North Carolina.
There are 3 players on that defensive front for Duke that did not start the first game of the year, and that would be Lee and Andrews and Barner, so they have changed up.
2nd and 8. Epley on the option. That's Flowers and gets tripped up nicely that time. Still a penalty flag down. Jody Brannigan making the tackle, a defensive back. He's a junior.
Duke will have to take chances for sure defensively. They have to come at Clemson, and that's just what they do right there as Brannigan gets into the backfield and trips up Flowers. They can't let Clemson dictate to them. Whether they're good, bad, whatever, they have to come defensively and make things happen. They did on that play.
So the penalty flag not only helping Duke out on the offensive side of the fence, but also now putting Clemson back on a holding penalty. And the ball placement will be outside the 30-yard line.
You've heard many times, don't let the underdog off the hook. That is the truest statement in sports. If you're a heavy favorite and you give a team confidence, you could be in trouble. And Duke, if they hang in this game, is going to get confidence, and Clemson's going to be in for a battle. They've got to put them away early unless they want to battle all the way.
It'll be 2nd and 17. Mack is the lone remaining running back now. Epley dropping straight back. Going for his tight end once again, and a beautiful catch by Dunn. After backpedaling and moving to his right, he made first down yardage. Johnny Hill, the tackle. What a nice catch by Dunn.
Ironically, on this play, the defense isn't that bad. They get pressure on Epley immediately up the middle. He sidesteps right here. Very close to getting Epley. Then he throws it, and it's a similar pass to the last one. Dunn has to turn around, but what a great catch. The defense was there, just good execution by
Epley
Clemson.
2 for 2, 38 yards through the air. That was Reggie Andrews, the nose guard, that came through to put the pressure on Epley. Epley, after one touchdown pass last year, has 6 this year. Handoff going to Kevin Mack. And Jody Brannigan making the stop on the play.
Kevin Mack has been a leader on this team the entire year. He's a special kind of back. He's a type of kid that just keeps coming at you. He's got good speed. He's not particularly shifty. There are his stats, 51 for 334. He can get the short yardage, but he's a good open field runner too when he gets going, and he's been one heck of a back for the Tigers.
Last week's 109-yard game against Virginia was his very first 100-yard plus game, and then of course he's already hit that mark here today. The hand up off the middle. Kevin Mack does not make the touchdown, but he might be very close to that first down, Kevin, with 3:52 remaining here in the first quarter.
It's interesting that Clemson would go up the middle. They haven't had tremendous success. Off tackle, it's been, well, just basically it's been a sieve for Duke's defense. They've been just running up and down, but they do like to try that middle to draw the defense in. I guess it's the coaching. They always like to go back to the middle and back outside, but if I'm coaching, I'm going to go off tackle all the time against Duke's defense.
Bullard and Mack in the backfield. Bullard is actually at the wing, and it's Flowers and Mack, your running backs. They go to the big guy, Kevin Mack. He does not make it in, but he might be close again to the first down. It was 3rd and less than a yard. Now the down stick on the far side says 3rd. See if they flip that over. They might have a measurement here. Very, very close.
Bill Smith, who was not starting in this game, was a starting nose guard for the Duke Blue Devils. He did a good job. He was taken over by Reggie Andrews. So you have to figure that Andrews is a pretty good football player. Still short of the first down, so it'll be 4th down. Big down for Clemson and the Duke Blue Devils. But the middle of that Duke defense is their strength. Bonacani, Alderman, Smith, Reggie Andrews, and Adams do an excellent job stuffing the middle.
Brian Raber bringing the play in from Coach Danny Ford. Raber at a tight end spot, and timeout is called. It's an official's timeout. Someone called for the measurement.
Well, that's a good move, right? You don't want to leave any doubt. If there is some doubt, you bring the sticks out and take a look at it.
Oh, first down. Good thing they called for it.
Look at Danny Ford. Well, I guess that's what makes a coach of a national championship team. I mean, Danny Ford said, hey, what do you mean it's not a first down? Let's take a look at this thing. That's the goal line, and it turns out Clemson does have a first down.
I kept wondering if the downstick was in the right place, the way they were fiddling around that time.
Well, you got to figure if they say it's not, it's not.
Epley on the carry. Does he make it in? Touchdown, Epley, quarterback sneak. So Epley takes it in. He's had 3 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks. Credit Dale Swing and Steve Reese with firing off on that line.
Epley may be the biggest difference in the offense. He's gained a lot of confidence in the last 2 weeks, and he's able to do more things. And with that, the Clemson offense is able to do more things, and they've been devastating. Well, this is their third game they've been devastating. 14 points in the first quarter.
Bob Pauling in to do the extra point. He's only missed one in his entire career. It is up. It is good. He's hit 2 for 2 in this ball game. It's Clemson 14-3 with 2:59 remaining in the first quarter. Pauling came into this game 88 of 89 for his career. He did not get an opportunity for a field goal against Virginia, and that broke a string of at least one 3-point successful try from field goals in 8 consecutive games. But he certainly has been kicking the extra points lately.
Well, it says 52 consecutive. He has 2 today, so that's 54 in a row. You say it's automatic. A lot of people feel it's automatic. Try kicking 54 in a row.
And it takes the timing of the snapper and the holder and the kicker as a team within a team. Epley's 1-yard run capping a 92-yard drive in only 9 plays. And a big thank you to Kevin Mack as far as the Clemson fans are concerned. Clemson leading 14-3 as Donald Igwebuike prepares to kick off. Grantham and Atkinson are your receivers deep for Duke. Atkinson is to the near side.
Kicking off for Clemson. Atkinson and Grantham.
You can look for just about anything today from Duke. They'll pull out all the stops to win this one, including maybe laterals on kickoff. So pay attention.
Here comes Donald with the wind at his back. Once again, setting it deep into the end zone, and Grantham says, no, I will not run it out. And so Duke taking over once again at their 20-yard line.
Last year, Ben Bennett was 20 for 34 and 217 yards against Clemson. That's not a great performance. Bennett needs 290 yards average for the remainder of the season to break Jim McMahon's NCAA record. He was number one, McMahon, in all-time yardage. So he'll have to do better than he did last year against Clemson.
He's 2 for 6 for 8 yards in this ballgame so far in the first quarter. First and 10 at the 20-yard line. 14-3. Clemson jumping out in front. Bennett, a short drop. And he goes over to Militello, where Vandal Arrington puts the collar on him.
Militello's dropped a couple today already, but he is an excellent receiver, and he can do some damage. Clemson's defense is playing off the wide receivers. They're giving Bennett that short pass, and Sloan, the old quarterback, is taking the short pass. Clemson wants to keep Bennett from going deep.
Bennett now with 14 yards through the air. Second down, 4 yards to go. Militello's playing with 2 cracked vertebrae, has been for the last 2 ball games. Grayson cuts inside. Penalty flag is down as he makes his way over the 30-yard line to the 31-yard line, where he's met by sophomore Steve Berlin. Let's check the penalty flag out. That's Grantham on the carry. And it looks like it'll be against Duke. Preliminary indication says it's holding.
It's too bad. That was a good run by Grayson. I remember Grayson from high school. He was the type of kid. He was so small that it was hard to believe he could run with the force that he did, but he has the ability to bounce off and maintain his balance and get the big yardage, and he's very, very quick. He's a good back and deserves a lot of credit. He's setting records here too.
So it gives Duke a 2nd and 14. There you see the difference in penalties. Clemson with 6 penalties for 38 yards, but Duke has been penalized for 30 yards here in the first quarter. 2:35 remaining in the first period. Herring is deep to the near side. Hand off on the delay up the middle. That's Grantham. Grantham slips a tackle, makes his way almost to the 30-yard line before he's met by Billy Davis. Let's check out that play, Kevin, as Grantham made some nice moves.
Watch Williams here. Now, one of the things about linebacker, you have to be in position to make a hit. Look at him. See, he's not squared up there, and when Grayson puts the move on him, or Grantham puts the move on him, he's able to slip off him. Tough play for Williams to make, but he should have made it. You have to stay square on the running back.
Key 3rd down play now for Duke. 3rd and 2 at the 28-yard line. Bennett, the short drop, zips it right through the hands once again of Militello. That ball was a bullet.
Yeah. Well, Militello must feel like a target. Bennett's just rifling the ball out there because he has to get it out quick on a sideline pattern, and Militello just can't handle it. I believe he's looking into the sun. The sun's behind us in the press box, would be in his eyes.
So Tolish once again in deep punt formation. He has kicked one previous for 41 yards. He has also taken off and run with the ball for a first down. Billy Davis is deep. A nice hanging punt to Davis. Davis takes it and is hit immediately at the 37-yard line. So there's still 1:38 remaining in the first quarter. Clemson, in 2 possessions, has taken the ball all the way for points, leading Duke 14-3 here in the first quarter. Howard Woods, credit him with the tackle, Kevin.
Good punt by Davis, by Tolish, into the wind. It's a pretty stiff wind, and it's in Duke's face. And he got it about 40 yards dead into that wind.
Butler's to the far side. Driver, Braxton Williams, the running backs. And that's Stacy Driver. What a hold he had initially on the right side of the line. Steve Reese, the guard.
The tackle by Junkin.
Mike Junkin,
And Lay for Duke.
linebacker, making the tackle on the play.
Well, holes do develop, and linebackers' jobs are to close the hole. And Junkin did a nice job of that. Linebacker is not a weakness here for Duke. You can expect good play from the linebacker.
Driver's first carry. He had 13 carries, 98 yards last week against Virginia. His best afternoon, and he's got some running. Whoa, what a nice cut at the 50-yard line. Inside the 45, down to the 42-yard line. Harry Ward making the tackle. Ward out of Norwood, Massachusetts, but watch this fine cut by Driver.
Okay, this is the option now, and the option should kill Duke. We have a block on the inside and a great block by Braxton on the outside to give Driver the inside move, and then he makes a cut in the open field. The option should work against Duke. They have trouble on the outside, and the option puts tremendous pressure on your corners.
Driver averaging 10 yards a carry and only 2 carries in this drive. Nick Bonicani was that linebacker that got hung up going the wrong way and then couldn't adjust. 14-3. Clemson leads. 1st and 10 at the 42-yard line. They try the middle.
Fullback, number 34, Braxton Williams.
Jerome Lee and Junkin making the tackle on Braxton Williams.
3 yards, 2nd down, 7.
Williams now with 4 yards and 2 carries. Alley coming into the offensive lineup for Clemson, replacing Butler. We've got Ray Williams to the far side. Alley is to the near side. Epley on the option play. Tucks it under. Doesn't quite get to the 35 as the horn sounds to end the first quarter here in Durham, North Carolina, with the score: Clemson 14, Duke 3. Clemson 3rd and 3 at the 35-yard line as we start the second quarter. Butler is to the near side as a wide receiver. We've got Ray Williams to the far side. Braxton Williams on the ball carrier. Penalty flag down as he makes it just inside the 30-yard line. Glenn Barner,
The flag on the play.
credited with the stop from Aberdeen, North Carolina. Looks like it might be a holding penalty once again against Clemson.
The call was on the wide receiver blocking on the cornerback, trying to open up the corner. And it was a good call. I was watching, and he hit him and tried to hold him, which obviously you can't use your hands offensively. One of the differences. Duke's defense is giving up an average of 471 yards per game, 33.4 points a game, and they're right on that particular average right now. In order to build a program, you need a defense. Most schools, most coaches will try to build the defense first, and Duke needs to strengthen that unit.
Look at that rushing yardage for Clemson. 165 yards in just a little over 1 quarter. They've been penalized 43. Lead it 14-3. Epley back to pass. His receiver falls down. The interception made at the 20-yard line. He's down at the 25. Joey Brannahan. Jody number 29 picking that ball off. Epley threw out of desperation. We haven't seen him do that much this year.
Well, I think, as you said, the receiver fell down. Epley had time. Williams going down the field. You don't see him here, but Epley lets go of this thing. Now, look, there's nothing there. See Williams down on the ground? He was thrown to a spot, and, of course, Duke was there.
Epley getting blasted right in the solar plexus just as he let go of the ball. So Duke now with a very opportune turnover. Grayson and Blunt, the running backs, out of the eye. 1st and 10 at the 25. Bennett back to throw. He throws into a crowd for his tight end. We got a pass interference call. It was intended for Scott Russell. Jimmy Scott might have had some hands in there.
Well, this is Davis on defense. Davis on defense is the one that causes the interference. This ball never would have been caught, and it's a tough play on Clemson. I think they lost sight of the ball. Now look at Bennett. He has time. He throws it, but it's behind the receiver. Never could have turned around. Davis jumped in the air and reached for the ball, and I think he got tangled up with the receiver in doing so. Duke gets the completion, or at least the penalty, and they're up now on the 40-yard line.
Penalties a big factor in Duke's favor in this ball game. Early 2nd quarter, Bennett dropped the snap. Now, that's an unusual happening between an all-ACC center and an all-American quarterback who have played together for 4 years.
Well, how about this statistic? Last season, the Duke center and quarterback, which would be Eppinger and Bennett, did not lose a single fumble in the entire season. That's an incredible statistic. You have to figure they play in wind and cold, and just the fact that they ran 845 plays without dropping the ball between them.
Paul Burke was there to try to secure the ball for Clemson. We now have a 2nd and 9 at the 41-yard line. Grayson on the carry. Bounce out of bounds at the 49-yard line. We've got a penalty flag down. It looks like a personal foul call on Davis. Tyrone Davis coming over to push a blocker out of bounds. And the yellow hanky came out. Looks like Duke will get another good break.
Penalties have played a large part in Clemson. Of course, we see Clemson every week, and they've had some penalty problems, and that'll happen with a young team, aggressive team especially. Yeah, face mask penalty. Good defense is aggression, reaction. You want to get your arms out there. You want to be grabbing people. You want to be hitting people. And sometimes you don't hear the whistle. And in this particular case, it was a face mask. But you can expect great defense to have a lot of penalties.
Bennett, in only the 5 previous games, had 135 passes caught. But that has not been the big factor offensively for Duke here today. But when you take that 135 mark, Kevin, that's more passes than any Clemson quarterback has completed in a season.
Well, we talked about Epley's game. It was the best game he ever had. That was the best game any Clemson quarterback ever had, statistically, last week against Virginia.
So it's a 1st and 10 for Duke at the 38-yard line of Clemson. See what Bennett has called in that huddle. Grayson goes toward the wing as Bennett fades back. Knocked down at the line of scrimmage. A good job that time done by James Robinson. He's 6'5", 275 pounds, a senior from Charleston, South Carolina. It's pretty tough to throw over him.
Look at the blocking on the left side of the line. They just took out the Clemson defense. You don't see it here, but yeah, there you go. Number 57. They just buried the Clemson defense, but unfortunately they didn't do it in the area where he was throwing, and Robinson was still on his feet, made the play.
2nd down and 10 now at the 38. So far, Bennett has not been able to really burn Clemson through the air. And it looks like a Clemson recovery. Well, still loose. Let's check it out. The center snap, and Bennett was pulling out of there too soon. Jeff Wells pouncing on the football, number 88. Wells from East Rome, Georgia. Used to be a tight end before he was switched over to defense. 6'4", 230-pound junior is a happy young man right now.
Well, here goes this record. 845 exchanges last year without a lost fumble. Clemson's awful quick when the ball's loose, and Wells comes up with the fumble, and it won't happen again this year for Duke.
Butler to the far side. Williams is in the slot. Mack and Driver, the running backs, and that's Driver in motion. 1st and 10 at the 42. Mack, penalty flag. Might be another hold. As Mack cuts inside, goes to the close to the 50-yard line, make it the 48-yard line, where he's met by Mike Junkin.
Penalty is on Clemson. Terrific block at the corner by James Farr. He pulled out and just knocked off the cornerback. For Duke, gave some room inside, but there's going to be another penalty. 7,000 Clemson fans, that's the hoot that you hear, and it's kind of an empty stadium here, really. Well, not empty, but far less than capacity. The Duke students are on break, and it's not full by any means, and that's got to work against Duke a little bit, because the home field advantage would help them in this game, as they are an underdog, and they really have almost as many Clemson fans as Duke fans here.
With Terrence Rulak, the leading receiver, 9 catches, 142 yards, and 3 touchdowns, out with an injury. Danny Ford is now substituting just 1 wide receiver at a time when he used to go with 2. That's Stacy Driver on the carry. Nice cut back. At 45, he's pushed and hit and still keeps driving those legs to the 48-yard line. Terrific effort by Stacy. Brennian making the stop finally on Driver.
Well, when you see how much room Driver has to work, this is an offensive back's dream. Look at the room he has. As he goes outside, comes back, he can stop, look around, cut back. Look at this. Look at it's a great shot, guys. Look at the space around him. Now watch Johnny Hill come up, and now here's Driver, the great back. Watch him run over Hill. This is a good hit. Driver bounces off and keeps going.
Keeps his legs in the right position. 2nd and 5 at the 48 now for Clemson. Epley's going to the air. He's got Williams on the far side behind a J.D. Dunn block. Williams, some fancy footwork for the first down. Inside the 45 to the 44. Chester G making the tackle.
Williams and Rulak, Rulak is not here, but Williams is. Both of these kids are freshmen, and Epley is a junior. When you consider that, here's the penalties. Now, Duke 3 for 38. Clemson rolling them up 10 for 77. When these kids come back next year with Epley, Clemson's going to be an offensive powerhouse.
1st and 10 at the 43-yard line. Williams in at fullback. And he makes the carry. Epley now 3 out of 4 through the air. 1 interception, but he's passed for 46 yards. He's also run for a touchdown. Jerome Lay making the stop. 280-pound senior in a defensive tackle.
They talk about Bennett's confidence, but I think the biggest difference in Epley now is he has confidence. He's gaining every week, and he's not hesitating anymore. He's just executing. That's important.
2nd and 8 from the 41-yard line. Williams in motion. The handoff straight up the middle. The fullback Braxton Williams on the carry, and Mike Junkin once again called upon the stop. Linebackers are busy for Duke today.
Well, I was a linebacker, and I know when they start changing numbers in the backfield and a different guy comes in, you start to look around in the huddle and you say, well, where did he get these guys? I mean, this guy's as tough as the last guy. I thought when you get the first guy out, you're supposed to have it easy. Against Clemson, their strength is their offensive backfield, and they'll come at you with a bunch of guys.
14-3, Clemson leading. Butler in motion. The pitch going back once again to Williams. Good running room. Pointed he had a hole to run through, and he drives his way down to the 6-7-yard line. Darrell Brunson finally making the stop from St. Louis, Missouri. Hanging on. What a hole for Williams on the far side, and he made the turn very quickly.
Not only did he have a hole, but watch, I think it's Branyan. Watch the defensive back come up here. You have to keep leverage on the inside. Watch him overrun the play right there. Well, we only had a short shot of it. This is great power running here by Williams. You never overrun the back. You always stay on his inside shoulder so that the sideline can help you. You never overrun him. That's what they did there.
Williams with 44 yards on the day now on a 2nd. And goal to go from the 6-yard line. Stacy Driver leaps his way to the 3-yard line. Incidentally, Ray Williams, we should credit with that fine outside block on Braxton Williams' run. Reggie Andrews and Mike Junkin making the tackle on Driver. So it'll be 2nd down and goal to go from the 3-yard line for Clemson now.
Gotta like Stacy Driver. He's a good back.
Swing over the ball at center. Cheatham is that right guard. Stacy Driver, he's your tailback. Braxton Williams, the fullback. Bullard in motion for blocking purposes. Driver now. Oh, he smells the end zone and gets it. Somehow he wiggles in after being hit. Braxton Williams with another fine block. And Stacy Driver the touchdown.
Stacy Driver's 5'8", 175 pounds. Look at the Clemson fans, bunch of Clemson fans. Let's watch Driver, 5'8", 175. You know people in your office that are this big. He's not a big kid. Look at the power. Look at the power. Bonacani's the guy that hit him. He's a linebacker, and Driver just sees the end zone, and he goes.
Another long, sustained drive for Clemson. 63 yards in 7 plays. Pollock's kick is up, and it is good. So with 9:55 remaining before halftime, it's Clemson 21, Duke 3. Igwe kicking off, and he rockets one deep, and through the end zone, hits the crossbar. Clemson fans go nuts on that one. They want 3 points out of it.
Well, that's right. It went, not only did it hit the crossbar, it went through, and apparently Donald likes to kick into the wind better. He gets him further into the wind than he does with the wind.
Listen to these yardage totals for the individuals. Mack with 104 yards in 7 carries. Flowers, 14 yards in 3 carries. Driver in 5 tries has 37 yards. And Braxton Williams, one of his fine games, is 5 carries for 44 yards. Tate Epley, the quarterback, has carried twice for 5. What an awesome total right now in the early going. 1st and 10 now for Duke as they try to get something generated. Nice pass play this time to the 35-yard line. I believe it's Militello making the catch, or Scott Russell. Scott Russell, number 85, the tight end. A junior. He's a big guy. 6'4", 222 pounds, from Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
He needed all of it, too, to get up for that pass from Bennett. Nice play by Bennett. Again, he's not particularly quick. He was just 1 step ahead of the Clemson defense, but he made the completion.
He's been held to 29 yards through the air here in the first half. As you see there, 4 completions in 9 tries. 1st and 10 at the 35-yard line for Duke. That's Militello. Tries to cut inside, making a gain of only 2 yards on the play. Henry Walls, the freshman redshirt. Well, he's not a freshman redshirt anymore. He's had so much experience this season. Coming into the ball game, the leading tackler for Clemson with 57 stops in that big game against Boston College. Bennett now is 5 for 10 for only 32 yards. He has not burned the Tigers as they trail 21-3 with 9 minutes remaining here in the second quarter. Bennett's head fakes. Not working that time for any penalty yardage. Grantham, the ball carrier, is pushed out of bounds at the 46-yard line. Henry Walls once again from Southmont, North Carolina. He's matured a lot, Kevin.
Well, the entire Clemson defense, there's Walls. This kid, he is mature. I don't think he's got far to go. He's tough. And so is the other kid. So is the other linebacker, Milton. Eldridge Milton's having a terrific season, and so is Williams. The linebacker was a weakness, is now a strength for Clemson.
Perry in the middle, Pickett on the far side, Robinson on the near side on the defensive line as Bennett goes back to pass on a 1st and 10 at the 46. He's got his man at the 42-yard line. That's Chuck Herring. Herring from Springfield, Virginia, 6'1" sophomore. Tyrone Davis grabbing him and bringing him down.
Herring is another back from Northern Virginia, from Lee High School. Now, Bennett takes a long time. Look at his feet. He's very slow, and he's going to get plastered here. He gets nailed. The ball is not a tight spiral and is in the air an awful long time. Herring was wide open, or else maybe that ball could have been intercepted. Look for Clemson to come up on some of those balls that Bennett's thrown that are in the air a long time.
1st and 10 at the 41 now for Duke. On the move with 8:25 still remaining second quarter. Blunt, the ball carrier, the fullback up the middle to keep Clemson honest. Eldridge Milton, the tackle.
I like Duke's offense. I like their runners. They run hard. Grayson runs hard. Blunk runs hard. Grantham is a good runner. It's a shame that their defense is so outmanned by the Clemson offense, because this Duke team, if they could control the ball, would be right in the ball game. Their offense is very, very strong.
Second and 5, in case you didn't see the scoreboard. The ball placement at the 36-yard line. Bennett pitching back and on the blitz. Childers came up from the secondary, and it allowed free rein for Steve Berlin.
Defensively, you don't have to make the tackle. Your responsibility is to turn people in. Watch Childers here. He buries Blunk, makes Grantham make the inside move. And there we go as Berlin knocks him dead. You have to turn the play in, make him make an early decision, and bang, he's gone. Good play by number 76, Berlin.
3rd and 10. From the 41, Bennett looks. He's got his man, the tight end, once again. Bounced out of bounds short of the first down. Russell Scott was met nicely by Terrence Mack, number 12. On a pattern like that, you'd think he would Run a little bit deeper. Now it's 4th and about 6 yards to go for the first down.
Well, where you are on the field has a lot to do with it. You need to know where to go for the first down. Also where the defensive player is. If Mack's going deep and laying off him a little bit, he breaks it off a little bit early. That's a good play by Mack. Terrence Mack is another player for Clemson that's improved over the weeks.
Bennett so far has been held to 51 yards through the air. 4th and 5. Bennett will go for it. Nice coverage. Double coverage on the tight end, Scott Russell, that time, and it was Childers deflecting the pass. No chance for the reception on this one.
Clemson doubling the tight end. Watch, you'll see two people here as Bennett goes back. He's looking that way all the time. He lets go with another bullet that appears to be, well, catchable. It's a pretty good throw, and Childers gets in there, and as you see in the back there, we've got Milton. So that's double coverage, the safety and the linebacker on the receiver.
Childers from Gaffney, South Carolina, as he takes his place for a little rest on the bench. 6:55 remaining to go here in the first half. Clemson leading at 21-3. Braxton Williams and Kenny Flowers. And Peretti is your new quarterback. That's Flowers. Well, he could bounce off of 2 tacklers, but he couldn't get away from Brannian. Jody Brannian, number 29.
It's a nice hit by Brannian. And a good place for Peretti. Peretti's had some tough luck this season. He was put into the Boston College game. He had a rough time. It's a first down, Clemson. Now he's in this game, 5 for 22, 57 yards. He's played quite a bit, and those stats maybe should be a little higher, but he hasn't thrown much. I think he'll get the opportunity today.
Charleston to the near side. Alley goes to the far side. Flowers now has 31 yards in 4 carries. Flowers in motion, blocking for Mack as he hits the right side. Can't get away from the linebacker as he gets just inside Blue Devil territory. Ralph Alderman, with 62 tackles coming into this game, is there and just won't let him get away.
You notice how tough Duke is up the middle. They really are tough. They have good hits. They get to the offense a lot quicker up the middle than they do on the outside. The strength of the defense is directly up the middle guard and the linebackers and the safeties too.
We've got Jeff Litton over the ball at center. He's had quite a bit of playing time here in the first half. 2nd and 6 from the 49-yard line. Peretti got Alley, and Alley is hit just as the ball got to him. A nice hit that time, I believe, by Brannigan.
Wide receivers always come back to the huddle and they say, please, if you're going to throw to me, throw low so I don't have to leave my feet. Now, Alley doesn't get that many balls thrown his way. Watch, he has to leave his feet. You know, he's, oh, no, I got to go up. And as soon as he goes up, he has no leverage, and Brannian just takes him out of the play.
Brannian with a nice wrestle takedown move in midair that time, as it's 3rd and 6 now for the Tigers. 5:51 remaining second quarter. Clemson 21-3. Really haven't broken this game open yet, but it's been relatively easy as far as this play will show. Lots of running room. Kenny Flowers going out of bounds, and the first down and more as he makes his way inside the 40 to the 38-yard line. Johnny Hill and Chip Anderson, the tacklers on the play.
Tigers took out the entire right side of Duke's defense on that, and that's tough on the defensive backs because you get a guy, 8 rushes for Mack, 108 yards. You get a guy running the defensive backfield, and he can deliver a blow. Flowers did that then. He had the momentum, and he was able to deliver a blow on the defensive back.
Mack only 2 yards away from his very best day rushing. 1st and 10 at the 38. That's Mack. He's got his 2 yards, so it's his best day ever in collegiate football. Reggie Andrews, the nose guard, with good lateral movement that time to get his arms on Mack.
2nd down, 7.
So give Mack 111 yards here in the first half on only 9 carries. Stacy Driver, Braxton Williams into the ball game at tailback and fullback. Flowers with 36 yards on the day. Conferring with the coaching staff. Stacy Driver, and he's hit immediately by Bonacani. Bonacani did not start the year on that first team. Of course, he's from Miami, Florida, where his family lives. He's only a sophomore, and really he's more like a strong safety in size. He's 5'10", 187 pounds, but the coaching staff has told us that it's heart and football knowledge that's put him on that first team.
Well, you remember his dad. His dad was 5'10", 220, played middle linebacker in the NFL for years and years, and was a great one. So size is not all that important in the Bonacani family.
4:33 remaining second quarter. Kevin Mack goes to the outside and gets a nice cut for at least a yard after Bonacani forced him in.
I was making a point about Peretti before. Peretti played in the Boston College game, had a rough time. He's had a number of what I like to call rough outings. He doesn't get a lot of playing time behind Epley, but he's a good quarterback, and he needs experience in a game that's not in doubt in order to get his confidence. This is an excellent opportunity. It's still early in the game. Duke's defense not particularly tough on this given day, and Peretti can gain confidence today and gain valuable playing time.
Two tight ends. Bullard in motion. And a pitch back to Flowers. Nice hit from the secondary. Ralph Alderman, the linebacker. Alderman showed me some good quickness on that move.
Linebackers are tough. You notice how you're not calling defensive line positions on the tackles. The defensive line is being taken out pretty regularly by Clemson's offense, and over a period of 60 minutes of football, it can get pretty tough for the defensive backfield and the linebackers to come up and make every single hit. It does wear you down.
1st and 10 at the 27-yard line. Peretti pitches back to Mack. Mack driving hard for 8 yards. Ralph Alderman again called upon to make the stop from that linebacker spot.
It's almost not fair to run an option against Duke, the way their corners, the weakness on the corner there on both sides of their defense, because that puts even more pressure on you. You have to tackle a quarterback, and Mack gets a running start at a cornerback. With just the thought of that is kind of frightening.
Mack with 118 yards. Yeomans into the ball game. Brian Walter out at defensive tackle for Duke on a 2nd and 3 at the 20-yard line for Clemson. Mack bottled up pretty well that time. Does not get the first down after a gain of a yard on the play. Harry Ward, number 43 from Norwood, Mass.
3rd down and 2.
He gets credit for the tackle. Time running down here in the second quarter. 2:33 remaining on a 3rd and 2 yards to go. There you see Mack is just 1 yard shy of 120 yards here in the first half. Clemson leading at 21-3. Driver and Williams out of the eye. Stacy Driver trying to bull through his own blocker that time. Number 60 getting off the ground is Farr, John Farr. James couldn't blow his man away there, and Stacy went right up his back. 4th down, and we've got a timeout to make a decision. So with the score, Clemson 21, Duke 3, 1:59 remaining in the second quarter. Ball will be held at the 25-yard line. Pauling trying for the 35-yarder. It's got the height and the distance, and the field goal is good. So Pauling now 9 hits and 11 tries this year field goal wise, with 1:54 remaining on the clock before halftime. Clemson 24, Duke 3. Clemson moving 45 yards, make it 46 yards in 12 plays. Capped by the 35-yard field goal by Pauling. Igwebuike just simply puts it through the end zone once again.
Kicked it into the band, actually.
Well, the Clemson fans on the far side, which there are about 7,000 Clemson fans that made the 5-hour drive to Durham, were kind of disappointed it didn't go through the uprights this time.
Yeah, they're getting used to those 60 and 70-yard field goal attempts by Igwebuike. It'd be interesting to see if he'll get drafted in the pros. He's not that great from close yardage, but has been terrific from long yardage.
Look at all those orange shirts. 24-3. Their ball clubs ahead. Clemson with 1:54 remaining in a half, and Duke now trying to get some more points on the board before halftime. Complete at the 30-yard line, close to the first down if they give him the forward progress. It went to Flanagan, Greg Flanagan, a sophomore out of Sarasota, Florida. Terrence Mack securing him there. They're gonna put the ball down on the 29-yard line. It's a yard shy of the first down. Bennett now 8 for 13. 8 out of 13 for 60 yards is all here in the first half. Well under his average. Full back on the carry. Pulls his way to the 36. Joel Blunk. James Robinson making the stop.
Stop by
Robinson coming into this game with 34 stops, 5 for losses, as well as 1 sack.
Duke's coming off 2 6-5 campaigns in 82 and 81, and they have not had 3 winning seasons since 61, 62, and 63. If they lose this, it's out of the question this year.
1:05 on the clock, the 1st and 10 from the 36. Bennett, the deep drop. Lofts one. He's got his man in the open, but overshoots him at the 39-yard line. Grayson, Mike Grayson, the leading pass receiver for the ball club. Bennett just missed him.
We'll see that play again. Grayson had Terrence Mack beat down the sideline, and had the pass been on the mark, we may have seen a Duke touchdown.
You see Bennett very disappointed in himself on that play.
I understand he doesn't stay disappointed in himself for long, though.
Averaging 236.4 yards a game. He has only 60 in this ball game. That might take him down a bit after that last article. Referring to an article in Inside Sports. 54 seconds on the clock. Bennett gets it away, and it's complete to Flanagan. Flanagan stays in bounds. Now it's a timeout to move the sticks. Terrence Mack making the hit on the play with 50 seconds to go and trailing 24-3. Duke gets a first down at the 49.
This is pure talent on Bennett's part. Let's watch Flanagan on the ISO against Arrington. What he's going to do, he's going to run a hook, and he's going to come back to the ball so Arrington can't intercept it. But Bennett, that was a slow-mo, and that ball was thrown hard. Bennett rifled that right between the numbers on the run. That's talent.
So Bennett now was 75 yards through the air. A timeout is called. Duke has 2 timeouts left and 50 seconds in which to use them. There you see Sloan with the white shirt talking to his quarterback.
Sloan took over for Spurrier, who's now in the USFL, both of them named Steve. Bennett had a rough time with Spurrier, although he credits him for having taught him all he knows about being a quarterback. Spurrier was a lot different than Sloan. He would come down on Bennett all the time, criticize him, and hope to motivate him. Sloan is not that way. He pumps him up a lot, gives him a lot of confidence, more confidence, I guess, and tries to have him be confident in himself. He's got the talent, just a question, I guess, of getting him motivated and getting the job done.
Green to the far side, Militello to the near side now on the 1st and 10 play. Bennett looks like he's looking over the defense to check off as Grayson comes to the wing and moves out into the pass pattern. Beautiful pass catch that time by Scott Russell. Russell Scott, I should say. No, check that. Militello, number 82. Nice hands on that play. Didn't look like he had a cracked vertebrae as he reached up to that one. 44 seconds remaining.
No, he could get one, though, if he has to do this again. The reason this ball is thrown so high is because there's a man in the way, I believe, defensively. As he throws it up, see, there's a defensive player there who would have had it been any lower. It's a perfect pass and a perfect catch. Mack was the defensive player.
You can see that flak jacket coming beneath the shirt of Militello on a 1st and 10 at the 31-yard line. Bennett going back for him. Tries to get out of bounds. Does he? Let's check the referee's official now. Yes, he does make it out of bounds. A nice play as Vandal Arrington was trying to hold Militello from getting out of bounds on the play.
Well, I don't believe that Militello did get out of bounds on that play. I think his knees went down in
Looked
bounds.
like he crawled over, yeah.
But we're starting now towards the end of the first half. We're starting to see vintage Ben Bennett. Look at that ball, as tight as it can be, about 30 yards in the air, right in the chest. Now let's take a look at Militello. No, I don't think so. I think his knees were down and the ball was in bounds. 5 receptions now for Militello, 52 yards. As yet, no touchdown.
And Bennett now, it looks like, has gone over the century mark through the air, and this has been the key drive as far as his totals are concerned. He's 11 for 17 for 108 yards.
Well, he needed 112 yards to jump 3 places on the NCAA all-time list. There's Sloan's record. 10 of those wins came at Texas Tech. When they went to the Cotton Bowl, they were 10-1 on the year. He did not have great success at Mississippi. He led Vanderbilt to their first bowl in 19 years when he was there. He has been a winner in 2 of the places that he's been. He did not win at Mississippi, however, and he's had a rough time here at Duke, 0-5.
11 years of head coaching in major college level. Got an early start on that head coaching job, didn't he? 38 seconds remaining now to be played in the second quarter from the 16-yard line. Here's the first down play. That's Grayson. The near wing. Tries to block for Bennett, lobbing to the end zone. Touchdown! Beautiful pass and reception by Militello.
Well,
Militello being out of the lineup for one game, I believe, and then tries to recuperate with a cracked vertebrae, comes back with a flak jacket on, and really does a nice job. You can see they really need him in that lineup, Kevin.
Well, the guy's outstanding. He dropped too early, and all of a sudden...
Right now, Danny Ford just doesn't want any mistakes. Mack, the ball carrier, right up the middle. Tries to squeeze through a pretty good hit, I should say. Flowers tries to sneak through. On the left side of the line, defensively, Ralph Alderman making the tackle. Flowers now with 42 yards and 7 carries. Billy Smith in at nose guard is hobbling off now. Looks like a right ankle.
This guy's been an outstanding performer. He was the starting nose guard last year. Has moved some, played some at tackle, but back at the nose guard now. He and Andrews.
Well, he came into the ballgame with a slight ankle sprain. It looks like that was aggravated on that play with 11 seconds to go before halftime. Epley conferring now with the coaching staff, I should say, in the huddle.
Kind of a funny story about Sloan. He said in the papers this week, well, that's the end of the second quarter.
So it is now halftime as the horn sounds. Clemson letting the clock run out. Clemson 24, Duke 10. From Wallace Wade Stadium at halftime, it is Clemson 24, Duke 10. As we see some of the halftime activities, the Clemson marching band down on the field. Kevin Kiley, Art Ekman. And it's been an interesting game in one respect in that Ben Bennett finally came back and showed us what he can do through the air.
Well, Duke tried to run the ball early, and I think that was because they wanted to control it and keep their defense off the field. We wondered why until we saw their defense. And then we realized that they have a better chance when the offense is on the field than the defense.
We've seen drives of 71, 92, 63, and something like 46 yards for Clemson. Let's take a look at some of the other halftime statistics in the first down department. You see, Clemson has moved the ball so well. They have only 13 first downs to 15 for Duke. But look at the yards rushing. 253 yards here in the first half of action. Duke 123 yards through the air, trying to stay in this ball game. And the total is 299 to 197 in total yardage. Hasn't been a game of turnovers, really.
No, not turnovers. And I think Duke defensively has to at least slow Clemson down. I don't believe their personnel can stop the Tigers. But if they slow them down, gain a little confidence, maybe they can get back into this.
Clemson and Duke. This is the USA's College Football 83. We'll be back with the second half after this.